Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another HD broadcast, and today we are going to be looking at a very special series of games. It is going to be Czech here, spawning as the 2 o'clock position blue Zerg player here on LT, and I do have to say, if you guys are not familiar with Czech, he is one of the currently best Korean players on the Asian servers. He has been performing quite well in a lot of the high profile tournaments, both in Starcraft 2 beta as well as retail now that the game has launched live. And I've been watching Czech quite closely. He is a very formidable Zerg player, one of the best. And you know, I've been doing so many of those tutorials lately, I haven't really gotten around to doing more of my original shoutcasts. So I was looking around for some good games, and so I did come across a bunch of replays with Czech himself playing, and so always a blessing to be watching the best from around the world playing Starcraft 2. So anyways, his opponent here is going to be down at the 6 o'clock location. He is going to be spawning as the red Terran player, and he is going to be throwing down that barracks right there. So his name is Cargo, and I'm not too familiar with Cargo. I've never actually heard of this player before, but you know, assuming that they are on the Korean server or the Asian servers, I'm going to assume Cargo is also a pretty top tier player himself. He's also getting that pretty fairly quick refinery, so he might be thinking about getting some Reapers out here with that first barracks down. And it looks like his SCV has not scouted Czech's base yet. He's actually running the SCV away, so I'm not quite sure what that's all about. Meanwhile, Czech here is going to be going for some kind of a one-base build. Already has that extractor starting to mine those gases from the Vespine geyser, and I'd really like to see what Czech is going to do. I don't think a one-base speedling build is going to be much use against the Terran player, because it can just wall off with one supply depot here so easily. Looks like Cargo is going to be getting a tech lab on that barracks, so we are going to be seeing some Reapers coming out fairly soon here for Cargo. Meanwhile, he has still not scouted Czech's base, and he actually sent his SCV here initially, so I'm not exactly sure what he's doing here. Maybe this SCV is just drunk. But Cargo here is going to finish his wall off, also getting his orbital command queen on the way for Czech, and the first Reaper is starting to come out. He is not getting the nitro packs for his Reaper quite yet, and I'd like to see if he's going to do it with his first 50 gas. No, he is not. So he's obviously going to be saving that gas, possibly going to get a factory down right after this initial Reaper, and the SCV has finally backtracked over to Czech's base. Czech now coming out with 4 Zerglings, speed quarter done to being finished for the Zerglings, and here comes the Reaper, gonna engage these Zerglings, gonna pick them off and force Czech to fall back, taking out 2 Zerglings along the way, and Czech here is gonna have to come back to his base and regroup to deal with this Reaper. And you really do need your queen at the very least to deal with these Reapers, and he does not want to get these Zerglings cornered right now. He is actually going to lose every single one to this lone Reaper, getting 4 kills right there. Oh man, what a hero Reaper that is, and a second one already on the way. And we do have the nitro packs being researched for Cargo, who is now getting a second refinery as well. I'd like to see him throw down a couple more barracks right now. He has a lot of extra money. He's getting this upgrade. Why not get that get another barracks down to pump out more Reapers, as we see LZ Gamer do quite often. But here comes the 2 more Reapers from the south. This queen should be able to handle it, but it does need to stay on the creep. The queen cannot engage off the creep. Oh, and Cargo there popping off the creep tumor as soon as it was about to morph down. And that was a great play right there from Cargo, denying the expansion of the creep so that these queens have a lack or have a less amount of mobility to chase around those Reapers when they do come to attack. And here is the real danger, the threat. These Reapers on this high ground on LT make it extremely difficult for the Zerg player Czech here to grab onto his natural expansion, and that is not a good situation for him to be in. He does have speed research for his Zerglings right now though, so that is one benefit that he does have to deal with the Reapers. Czech here is going to lose his Overlord as well. Did he scout out the barracks, or excuse me, the factory? He did see the factory. He saw 2 more barracks going down as well, and the starport, so he sees everything that he needs to see at this moment. Actually did not see the 3rd barracks, but he knows exactly what's going on. The hallmark of any good player, always scouting in the most difficult of times, and he does have these speedlings. He's trying to keep these Reapers away from his base, but Cargo here, having none of that, is just using these 3 Reapers to keep the Zerg player on one base. A very clever strategy right here as he starts to transition into Marauders, and I'm going to assume we're going to see some dropships here from this starport and reactor combo. And no, we're actually going to be seeing some Hellions coming out from the factory. The two tech labs, one more tech lab and a reactor coming down on these barracks as well. Stimpack being researched, and I think we're going to see Marauders fairly soon here, or possibly just some kind of a Marine Marauder mixture with Hellions, which could be very potent as well. And here comes Cargo with those 3 Reapers again. He's going to get surrounded this time by the Speedlings, one of them getting taken out, but the Reapers hopping up to high ground for safety to keep the Zerg player in check. And Check here has actually thrown down a Baneling's nest. So he realizes, he saw those barracks going up, so he knows that there's going to be infantry on the ground, and so wisely decided to switch over to Banelings. He does have a layer coming out as well, and he's hiding his Spire over to the left side of his base. Nice maneuver there, which is going to keep the Terran player in the dark, but here comes the Reapers into the base, popping off the creep tumor yet again. Very dirty, those Reapers killing those tumors constantly. And they're like chemotherapy. Anyways, the Reapers coming in here, popping off the tumors yet again. And it looks like Check here is he's really not being able to spread his creep out because those Reapers have been denying that expansion. But here comes the Spire, and it is halfway done. I'm not sure if Cargo is aware of this. He is not aware of the Spire that's about to come out. He does have a Viking on the way and some Marines on the ground. He has a second Viking already in the air. So if he has enough Marines and Vikings, he can deal with the mutas, but he can still get caught off guard in a very bad position as well. The Reapers here actually might be able to pick off this Queen. The Queen comes into range of the Hellions, but the other Queen using Transfusion, and here comes the Speedlings to surround the Hellions and the Reapers, and they are going to get the Hellions, but the Reapers hopping up to the high ground, abusing that jetpack to the maximum, and the Zerglings are forced to run back into home base. But the Mutalisk Spire is up, and do we have any mutas coming out? This is just insane watching these Korean players duke it out, because you never see Zerg players play one base. But you guys can see the position that Czech has been forced into, finally getting that expansion up. Still very vulnerable to these Reapers up on the high ground, but you guys can see that this is how the Koreans play. This is an extremely intense situation for both players here, as Czech needs to get this expansion up and running. He needs to start to saturate it. The Spire is up. He has 7 Mutalisks on the way. So Czech here obviously preparing his larva, preparing the gas and minerals necessary to make all these Mutalisks. There are 3 Vikings on the way though. The Vikings are not going to see the Spire. They are just going to hover around and pop off some Overlords, but the Mutalisks are almost out, and as soon as those Mutas pop out, these Vikings could very well meet their maker. The hatchery has been shown now, and Cargo's going to hop down and start to go to work on that hatchery. He needs to bring his infantry out though. For God's sake, the Mutas are coming, and the Vikings are completely exposed. All the Vikings are going to go down. They do pick off one of the Mutalisks, but a second Viking goes down. All the Reapers going down. The expansion is secure, and Czech here is going to come out and finish off all of these Vikings. Nice micro there, keeping that last Muta alive, and the Hellions coming in to try to do some damage, but the Zerglings and Banelings taking out all of those flamethrowers, and now Czech has secured his expansion. He has finally done what he needed to do. He can start to really pick up that income. You guys can see he is still behind the Terran player, but right now Czech has that mobility with these Mutalisks. As long as Cargo can keep his Marine count up, get some more Vikings in the air, he should be fine against the Mutas. He can also get dropships, as you guys can see right here. He's also getting upgrades for his weapon.